I never thought a quiet Saturday evening could spiral into one of the most gut-wrenching nights of my life. It started with a text from Sarah, my wife's friend, someone I trusted more than anyone outside our marriage. "Hey, can we talk? It's important." I stared at the message, my chest tightening. Important? At 10 at night? My mind raced, trying to convince myself it was nothing, just some trivial drama. But something in the tone, something in the way she'd chosen words, made my stomach sink. Earlier that day, I'd noticed small things I had brushed off. My wife, Laura, had suddenly gone quiet during lunch, her phone buzzing insistently in her purse. I'd asked her about it, and she smiled just a little too brightly and said, "Work stuff, nothing for you to worry about." I wanted to believe her, wanted to let the warm trust I'd felt for years shield me from doubt, but the seed of suspicion had been planted. The conversation with Sarah didn't go how I expected. She cornered me outside her apartment, the street dimly lit, the hum of distant traffic filling the space between us. "You need to know," she said, her voice trembling. Before I could respond, anger bubbled up. I couldn't help myself. I shoved her, and she stumbled back, startled. "What the hell are you talking about?" I demanded, heart pounding, fists clenching. Sarah's eyes filled with tears, and she whispered something that froze me in place. "It's Laura. She's been seeing someone else." For a second, the world tilted, and I had to steady myself against a cold brick wall. My first thought was denial. No, this can't be real. She loves me. We've built a life together. But the way Sarah looked at me, pained and sincere, left no room for doubt. I tried to retrace the signs, the subtle betrayals I'd ignored. The nights Laura worked late, when I'd sit alone with the soft glow of the TV and pretend everything was fine. The small, hurried excuses when I asked about missed calls. The way her laugh sometimes carried a hesitation, like she was trying not to reveal something. I had blamed myself, paranoid, jealous. But now each memory stung. Each smile felt like it had been borrowed for someone else. That night, I couldn't sleep. I scrolled through my phone, hesitant, fearful, and then I found it. A series of messages hidden in a folder I'd never checked. Exchanges between Laura and someone named Ethan. Words like, "I miss you," and "can't wait to see you tonight," made my hands shake. My heart thudded painfully against my ribs, a mixture of rage and disbelief. The confrontation came the next morning. Laura was in the kitchen, humming softly, coffee steaming in her mug, utterly unaware, or pretending to be, that the walls of my world had crumbled overnight. I couldn't hold it in. "Who is Ethan?" I demanded, voice breaking despite my efforts to stay calm. Her face paled, eyes widening, and then she sighed, like the weight of years had suddenly landed on her shoulders. "It's not what you think," she said softly. I didn't mean for this to happen." Her hands trembled as she clutched the mug. I wanted to hate her, scream at her, but the mix of love and betrayal twisted in my gut. "I trusted you," I whispered. "I trusted everything about us." "I know," she said, "and I hate myself for it. I was lonely, and I made a terrible choice. Ethan, he just listened when I needed to be heard. It shouldn't have gone this far. I never wanted to hurt you." Her words didn't erase the hurt, didn't undo the nights I'd felt abandoned and the mornings I'd awaken alone beside her, unaware that her heart was elsewhere. But they painted her in shades of gray, not black and white. She wasn't a villain. She was human, flawed, impulsive, and reckless, but human. I remember the quiet moments after, the silence that stretched between us like a canyon. I didn't know if forgiveness was possible or if I even wanted it. I only knew I needed to reclaim myself, to breathe without the weight of suspicion hanging over me. I packed a bag, left the house, and for the first time in years, walked through the city streets alone, letting the cold night air clear my head. By the time I returned, I had made a choice, not about her, but about me. I would let go of the anger, the betrayal, the heartbreak that had gnawed at my bones, and focus on rebuilding. Whether our marriage survived or not wasn't the point. What mattered was that I would not let myself be hollowed out by someone else's mistakes. And in the end, when I looked at Laura one last time that morning before leaving, there was no screaming, no bitter accusations. Just a quiet nod, a mutual understanding that some bridges, once scorched, cannot be crossed again. I whisper a silent goodbye, not just to her, but to the version of myself that had trusted blindly. It hurt, yes, but for the first time in a long time, I felt a strange, steady calm. I had lost something precious, but I had found myself, and sometimes that is the hardest and the most necessary lesson of all.